Ready or not, here I come now. Let's play hide and seek. Prepare to be caught. Here I come now. Let's play hide and seek. Riding on the playground, no one dares to make a sound. Round and round and round and round, no one wants to be first found.
Everyone has to live somewhere. The sudden closure of White Pine Property Management highlights larger issues for U of I students. March 7th of 2018. Alan Korjenik and 3 friends signed a lease with White Pine Property Management in 2016 despite their misgivings. They, my friends, just said it wasn't White Pine, wasn't great, he said. I didn't know it was going to be this bad. Upon move-in, the University of Idaho 4th year student could tell the house hadn't been cleaned recently. It wasn't very clean when we moved in. It kind of looked like trash, he said. The heat didn't... Hold on. I just had something crawling on me. I just bounced it. The heat didn't work except for the main floor bathroom. The washer and dryer broke down constantly. The only appliances that worked regularly at the 614 South Washington Street were the stove, refrigerator, and microwave. Hold on, I got something crawling on me. Just a minute. Okay, let's go look at 614 South Washington Street. Just a second, I'll get you there. Well, as you can see, this is one of the areas that I have highlighted. Actually, it might not be the exact tag, but I'm going to look and see down here who owns this first. Pop up, it's not doing its thing. There we go. Oh, same P.O. box, so this is them for sure. Okay, get rid of that little 614. Okay. So under their University City Holdings 1 LLC, how about just under their, let's just back it up and go underneath there. Let's take the 1 out of the mix. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just continues to go up. They have a zillion LLCs. Even still. I bet you let's see if we move up here. Yeah, they own all these right here, right? That's a different one. There's another whole unit. So, all of these. Okay. So, I have tagged this one. So, it looks like that's either a false second name or he's been remarried. Wow, right there in the midst of it, right? That's an interesting church name. All Souls Christian Church, Church Christian. What? That means I gotta do some writing. Okay. So, right there. This is the one they're actually talking about on this Reddit. Okay? Actually, I guess it's not a Reddit, but let me go back up here. I accidentally turned the recorder off, so I have to do it again. Find out where it was. Dang it. There's something in here. Where is it? Stay off me. Wow, it went all the way back up here. Went all the way down. Okay, here we go. The only appliance, that's where I left off, was the stove, refrigerator, and microwave. These problems were just the beginning for Korjenik, a first-time renter. After months of poor customer service, his lessor disappeared. White Pine Property Management, one of the largest property management companies in Moscow, vacated its office and closed for business without notice. Sorry about that. Without notice during summer of 2017. Tenants, many of whom were U of I students, began calling the city of Moscow and the University of Idaho Dean of Students Office with concerns. So, you know, you guys, there had to be a ton. You saw how many properties just right then that I showed you. Can you imagine? I mean, they're the biggest rental place in Moscow. And that was then. Now there's, how many years now? They got a good, what is it, 4? Oh, there's way more. They got a few years, quite a few years now. After all of this, imagine how much they have now. Literally, they're probably like, this is how I'm seeing it in my mind's eye. You know how you get an internet company or a phone company and they just corner the market? Like they literally take over, and there's maybe one or two other small ones that get in there that just can't compete. This is what this sounds like to me. So throughout the utility billing department, we also got notice that there were some accounts that were delinquent. They were all belonging to a White Pine, said Jen Pfiffner, Moscow assistant city supervisor. Okay, you guys, I've had a headache all day, so if I'm reading a little wonky, that's because my face is sore, my head still hurts, and all the above. Okay, bear with me. Security deposits for properties were not returned. Renters in existing leases with White Pine did not know who managed the property. Those who had not yet moved in but paid a deposit did not know if they had a place to live. Property owners who said White Pine property owners who paid White Pine to manage the lease payment and maintenance had not received rent payments for several months. Ooh, that's big. City-issued utility bills in excess of $200,000 were left unpaid. So this means that they probably had all things paid. Utilities were probably paid along with the rent, like it was all inclusive, right? And that they didn't pay the rent, so that means that the power bill wasn't getting paid either. That is messed up. Something just wasn't fitting. Korjanik received 3 or 4 eviction notices during his 12-month rental period with White Pine. The first 2 notices were an accident. He said that the company failed to check the drop box located near the front door of the office. We had our rent in on time, he said. It was common to use that as empty. It was common to use that as empty threat. It seemed odd. The roommates received eviction notices when they paid rent late, but nothing ever happened. See, this is gonna be a rough one for me, guys. Sorry, I've been out of it all day long. But I saw this earlier and I wanted to get it to you. In their second month of the lease, that was only their first month? In their second month of the lease, he and his housemates started receiving unalarmingly high water bills, which appeared to be the result of poor maintenance or none at all. Like a few $1,000s, so that was obviously weird. They, White Pine employees, were really nice and caring and sympathetic towards our situation, and it just made it seem like something was going to happen. Wow, it felt like things were getting done. Okay, so they turned it in. Felt like something was going to happen, like they were going to make it work. Look into the problem. Then they tried to schedule repairs. It took about 2 weeks before they heard their repairman knock on the door. Another exorbitant water bill arrived. He, White Pine's repairman, clearly didn't fix anything, he said. At that point, he realized something just wasn't fitting. The city utility department showed his roommates the property's typical water bill, which was significantly lower than the bills they were receiving. He said a city employee told the roommates not to pay the bills until White Pine found a solution. Time drug on until one of the housemates' family members, who are lawyers, recommended they stop paying rent. They said to stop paying rent until White Pine sat down and got a spreadsheet open and did some calculations and actually gave us the numbers of what we should be responsible for as far as water usage. Those calculations never happened. Then White Pine closed. At this point, I think I could gauge the situation a little better, he said. It was a learning experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything, even though we got hosed. He and his roommates lost their $1,500 deposit and never paid their water bills. They weren't the only White Pine tenants to lose their money. Criminal issues. When tenants do not receive their security deposit back, they can file in civil court. As the number of tenants who lost money grew, it was clear there was something else happening. There's a lot of information that shows the case goes back multiple months. We certainly feel there's a criminal issue going on here, said Darren Gilbertson of Idaho State Police, ISP detective. Gilbertson said, so they brought in an ISP detective? That's interesting. Gilbertson said the company was managing well over 100 properties when it disappeared. Originally, the Moscow Police Department was handling the case. MPD found White Pine owed the city over $200,000 in utility bills. Then they handed the case over to ISP in July to avoid a conflict of interest. Was there a conflict of interest? You could read so much into that, right? While the investigation moves forward, only limited details have been made public. I'd like to know who their relatives were, White Pines, which is easy to look up. We know who White Pines is now, right? Well, I know who White Pines is. I don't know if you guys do, but I do. And they're still there. And they're still renting. And they own half of the town now. In late October, I'm exaggerating when I say half the town, but let me tell you, they're everywhere. And just like Doug said a while back, he's going to make this a Christian town. I'm just throwing that out there. In late October, documents from the business were located in a house near the former White Pine office of Moscow. Whoa, in late October, documents from the business were located in a house near the former White Pine office in Moscow. 5 boxes labeled White Pine and 2 garbage bags full of documents were found in a storage room of the house. MPD seized the documents and gave the materials to ISP. Did they give everything to ISP? That's what I want to know, because normally they lose things. They're good at that. So what was left out? This isn't the story. Yeah, I'm acting like Drift Drop right now. I haven't seen him lately. Have you guys? A forensic accountant is working through records from financial institutions for evidence of a crime. After the investigation is over, ISP will work with the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to determine what, if any, charges can be filed. Unfortunately, with these cases, they do take a lot of time because of the sheer amount of data we have to go through. I've heard that before, Gilbertson said. If prosecutors do not elect to file criminal charges, people can file civil suits against the owners of White Pine. This incident highlights a larger problem with college students transitioning from on-campus to off-campus housing. Oh man, they have cornered it now. Wow. Are you guys getting what I'm getting going down here? Oh, lordy. Oh, let's see how this plays out. I haven't read this. I'm reading it right along with you guys. I just saw it earlier today, and then I just passed out from the pain. Despite knowing the negative reputation of some property management companies, many students are still forced to work with these companies. Because we're in Moscow, and it's such a small community, housing is such a shortage and limitation is such a shortage and limitation for students. It exacerbated the crisis, said Blaine Eccles. Now this is interesting, because I don't believe, when did the other guy, oh yeah, okay, he was the dean of students at that point, because this is 2017 we're looking at right here, right? I think, yeah, because in 2000, I believe it was 2015, that's when the dean of students resigned after only being there for 4 months. And he resigned. His reasoning for resigning was that he could not control the students. He couldn't do his job. He couldn't protect them because he couldn't control the students. He said that the frats, I think is the term he used, had too much power. That's why he resigned after 4 months. Some people said it was even sooner than that. Now, that's a stand-up guy. That's a guy you want as your dean of students. Eccles has got a son here, too. He's got a son in on Greek Row, by the way. Food and shelter is always at the top of everyone's needs, and this throws that into sharp focus. Jessica Monroe, another University of Idaho student who rented from White Pine, lost her security deposit amid the chaos. She rented with White Pine despite the poor reputation because the company managed a house close to campus. Everyone has to live somewhere, she said. Like new. White Pine is a new iteration of an old company, University City Property Management. According to Idaho State business records, University City was registered as LLC in the state of Idaho in 2009. The owner, Michael Osterholtz, retired in January of 2016 and sold the business to Braxton Kerwin. Kerwin retained the accounts of clients with a new company called White Pine Management, registered as an LLC in January of 2016. The company was periodically called White Pine on leases, despite being registered as White Pine, one word. University City and White Pine followed similar practices. Hidden fees in leases, ignored maintenance requests, and exorbitant charges for damage done by lack of maintenance. University City Property Management had 70 reviews and a 1.4-star rating on Google. Only 2 reviews are 5-star testimonials, and that's more than likely that's one of them that did it, right? All 27 Google reviews for White Pine rate the company with just 1 star. Similar to issues reported in University City's Google's reviews, White Pine reviewers complained of delayed maintenance and hidden fees. Reviewers described moving into their units and finding them still dirty from the last tenant. Some didn't have hot water for washing machine. Outlets didn't work. One roof leaked. Raw sewage backed up for days before being fixed. Some reviewers were left outside a rental property waiting for a showing, and no one from either company made the appointment. That just makes me just ill inside because, man, that takes, especially we're talking students here, right? They don't have a lot of money. They're coming from somewhere else, so they could have been even from, maybe even from out of state coming in to take a viewing of someplace that they want to be able to stay while they get their education. This is sick. Attorney Ron Landick, who reviewed a White Pine lease obtained by Blot, said the lease was riddled with vague language. I've never seen a lease that has this kind of detail that is so tenant unfriendly, he said. The most problematic aspect was White Pine's policies regarding security deposits, Landick said. According to the Idaho state law, security deposits must be held in a separate account. The deposits must not be touched until termination of the lease. This lease, Landick analyzed, was riddled with fees. According to the document, the fees could be paid by the tenant or, at landlord's option, such a fee may be withheld from the resident's security deposit. Whoa, I've never heard that either. Landick said, this statement could create trouble. I don't know if it means they can take money out of the deposit or if they wait until the end of the term, he said. This to me says the landlord can apply the security deposit to past due rent. They've created their own standard in violation of the unlawful detainer provision regarding security deposits. So they can just take the payment. It's not there for that purpose. So they've created their own standard in violation of the lawful detainer provision regarding security deposits. So they can just take that payment. It's here. It's not there for that purpose. Exactly. Landick said there is no enforcement Landick said there is no enforcement outlined in the statute, making holding parties accountable difficult. Making holding parties accountable difficult. That's a tough sentence right there. Deducting fees from a deposit during a lease would violate that statute, he said. In an interview with the Argonaut in 2013, Osterholz said his job as a landlord is to hold tenants accountable. Wow, that's starting out on a negative foot. That's the way that I'm receiving that, right? Our lease is not set up to be complicated. We set it up to cover everything. Your ass, he said. No, I said. According to a press release, Osterholz was recently hired as the business manager for the College of Engineering, Science, and Math at the University of Wisconsin, Platteville. Public records indicate he is involved with another property management company in Platteville, one or the other. Multiple attempts to reach Oberholz and Kerwin were unsuccessful. Former employee Cassie Morigaki declined to comment. As an issue of knowledge, staff liaison for Moscow's Fair and Affordable Housing Commission, FAHC, Ryan Cash, great name for this type of thing to work, right? Funny. Said students are stuck in a cycle. There's the dean of students there. He looks like a kid himself, doesn't he? That boy, there's no way. Cutting this guy's hair. He's always got a one of those, spikes. It's not necessarily that everyone's being defrauded in the community. It's essentially a matter of ignorance, he said, because of the transient population we have coming from the university. What? We have people who aren't aware, who are first-time renters, so rental companies have the endless pool to take advantage of. Now, this right here disturbs me. Hold on, this car just pulled in just a second. This, somehow, the way I read this the last time, made me feel like he was sticking up for them in a, weird way. So, this is the dean of students, and this is what he says. This makes me feel like, are you a relative? Just saying. It's not necessarily that everyone's being defrauded in the community. It's essentially a matter of ignorance, he said. Because of the transient population we have coming from the university, we have people who aren't aware, who are first-time renters, so rental companies have the endless pool to take advantage of. He could have worded that a lot differently, don't you guys think? That seems... The FAHC has no way of addressing the issues that arose in the closure of White Pine. The commission does attempt to combat the problem of knowledge through renter rights workshops aimed at first-time renters and home buyers. You think in a college town, especially this intimate, that this would be something that they would somehow, I don't know the word for it, not overlook, but, but watch out for the students, know these rental properties, and actually, review them to see how they are, that type of thing, because they are students of the university. Even though they're off campus, they're still students, and they're still bringing in money and putting butts in seats. You'd think that they'd have some type of help through the university, just in that way, just like a big brother, would protect you, from certain things. This is how this feels like, that they should be doing something like that. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm sure I'm wrong, actually, because, who does that in this day and age? It's just, dog eat dog, you're on your own out there, That's how it feels, especially in this town. And especially if you're off campus. It's not our problem. Just because you're a student, you're paying us gobs and gobs of money. You're not our problem. 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 You're the problem, apparently. You're ignorant from what this guy says. That's how he sounds like he talks. He looks like Kermit the Frog to me. He does. God, I've been wondering who the heck he looks like. That dude looks like Kermit the Frog. Oh my God. You guys know I'm going to have to make a video. The horn. Does he not? Or Fozzie the Bear, or Kermit the Frog, one or the other. I wonder if we can make both of them together. A fuzzy frog, a Fozzie frog. Oh God! Now we got someone dragging the garbage. Golly! So the FAHC has no way of addressing the issues that arose in the closure of White Pine. The Commission does attempt to combat the problem of knowledge through renters' rights workshops aimed at first-time renters and home buyers. Makes me wonder who's running those first-time renters and home buyers workshops. ASUI, Senate, Hannah, not Senate, backtrack. ASUI Senior, Hannah Spear, is working for FAHC to better market the workshops to students. Spear said workshops are being planned for March and April to target students looking for summer housing. We're planning to target students. God, that could have been worded differently too. Seems like target. That seems like, wow. I don't know why this is not sitting well with me, but these choice of words to benefit students looking for summer housing, to educate, not to target. Target. To target. A person, object, or place selected as the aim of an attack. An airport terminal was a target of a bomb. A small round shield or buckler. Select as an object of attention or attack. 2 men are targeted by the attackers. Yeah, for sure. And then this pops up? What the heck? A Russian warlord seemed to put a... scary. Okay, so I was correct with my words. Spear said workshops are being planned for March and April to target students looking for summer housing. The workshop will cover tenant and landlord responsibilities and what happens when roommates leave a lease or there is damage to an apartment. But I wonder if it actually also covers what happens when your person, the company, leaves you high and dry and you have nobody to even contact. I wonder when that happens. Who does the house belong to then? I mean, what is that? How does that even work, you guys? U of I does not provide resources for students on its... does not provide resources for students on its website beyond a list of rental companies in Moscow. Eccles said this is not U of I's responsibility. Our job is to help develop students to be informed consumers and help them understand they're entering into a legal agreement. Students have to take responsibility for doing that, he said. If you don't like what's in that lease agreement, don't sign it. Heavy-handed. Eccles said he worked at a previous institution where the general counsel would provide a clinic about common pitfalls in leases. This situation has me thinking I should get that going. My brain's not working, I tell you guys right now. It's still on migraine. This situation has me thinking I should get that going here, he said. I should get that going here, he said. Kermit the Frog. Sonny, what you doing? Decline the seat. A balancing act. Yeah. There are 2 kinds of property management companies. Some companies act as a third party between the property owner and the tenant and typically handle deposits, rent. Sonny. Hold on. Balancing act. There are 2 kinds of property management companies. Some companies act as a third party between the property owner and the tenant and typically handle deposits, rent payments, and maintenance. Other companies and individuals manage properties they own. Wow. My head and my mouth are not working together today. Other companies and individuals manage properties they own. Idaho does not regulate any of these transactions or business dealings. We're not talking about Idaho on its own. We're talking about a university town that's got students coming in from all over the place to rent, to put butts in seats to pay the university money. So is the university attached to this too? Because there should be some type of protection somewhere along the line, I would think. I mean, at least, you know, monitoring this company and finding out who this company is and knowing who's in their town, basically hijacking the students' monies, and, you know, which in turn leaves, you know, is hurtful to them. So it would be to their benefit to actually have something to overlook this type of thing, you know. Merida McClanahan works as a property manager for Team Idaho Realty. Team Idaho, you don't say. Which operates an office in Colfax as well. Wow. Called Team Washington. Whoa. Because the business operates in 2 states with different laws, McClanahan said Team Idaho follows Washington state law. What? What? You don't say. Now that is something. That's something. That's something. That's a little something, don't you think? A property manager operating in Washington must work with a licensed broker. Brokers must keep prepaid rent and security deposits in a separate escrow, account from fees and rent payments. Keeping things separate, McClanahan says, ensures nothing slips through the cracks. Well, that's good she knows that. Ultimately, the broker is the one that's responsible for the money. Their license hangs in the balance, she said. It offers that policing action we're all looking for. We're past the time where Idaho can be the wild, wild west when we're looking at property management services. But that doesn't mean you should go by Washington, or I don't even know if you could do that and keep it on the up and up and make it stick if you're using another state's policy. But if Idaho's is that bad, maybe that's what they want to do. I mean, I don't know how that works. That's really weird. Sean Wilson, ooh, ding, 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 a broker with Idaho Realty. Wow, you don't say. Agreed with McClanahan, of course. Idaho Realty is not a property management company, said Wilson. But wait, ugh, God, you guys, this is tough for me. It's really tough today, but I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there, really, I am. Idaho Realty is not a property management company, but Wilson said he is tired of watching property management companies close unexpectedly. So this seems to be kind of a normal thing over there. Wow. If it's a normal thing over there, and this has been happening, why haven't they done something about it? It gives our community a black eye, Wilson said. I have rental properties I privately manage, and one day I want to be able to retire and know I'm not getting ripped off. Wilson said definitions in Idaho's regulations need some fine-tuning. Well, maybe that's a good thing they're using Washington, but I still don't know how they can make that stick if they're using another state's laws and regulations. It seems like somehow something can get around that and be, I don't know. What is a property management company? If I manage 2 properties for my neighbor, who's a retired guy, I am a property manager, or am I a property manager? I don't know, he said. If I had 100 units of rental property and I own them, do I fall into that definition? Carolyn Nilsson Troy. So, Wilson said, his legislator, Representative Carolyn Nilsson Troy, Republican for Genesee, introduced legislation this session that would require property managers who work with property owners to keep deposits in separate trust accounts. You mean they never... Idaho didn't have this before? You guys. Wah, 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 wah. As of press time, Troy's bill had been approved for print. This would only affect property management companies who manage properties they do not own as a third-party entity. This would only affect property management companies who manage properties they do not own as a third-party entity. You can stop people from behaving badly, but this is a start. You can't stop people from behaving badly, but this is a start, she said. We're trying to start with some options that aren't hard for people to manage or understand. Wah, wah, wah. You have to start somewhere. Troy said she worked with third-party and private... Oh, cat's going to be going crazy here in a minute. Troy said she worked with third-party and private property managers and realtors in Moscow and Lewiston to ensure the bill would be effective. We've had issues in Moscow, significant issues over the last 10 years, she said. White Pine was the third one, but not everyone is having the same kind of issues we are. So we have to explain. I'm trying to multi-manage here. Hold on. The cat's out and about. She's roaming. I gotta move things around as she roams because it's a tiny little place. I got a studio apartment on wheels. White Pine was, let's see, let me go back here. We've had issues in Moscow, significant issues. Issues and significant issues are two totally different things. If you have significant issues, they need to be addressed, in my opinion. This is me speaking over y'all. So we've had significant issues over the last 10 years, she said. White Pine was the third one. Third time's a charm, I guess. But not everyone is having the same kind of issues we are. So we have to explain the importance of this to everyone in Boise. What? Peas and carrots, 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 peas and carrots. Did you guys know that? Peas and carrots is what is spoken with the people that are stand-ins, or like, you know, the extras in movies and films that are standing around on the sidewalks and talking and, you know, conversing. That's what they say the whole time. They say peas and carrots, peas and carrots, peas and carrots, peas and carrots. Because they found that is the most, it looks more like they're actually having a conversation with the consonants and the vowels that they're using in those three words. I don't know why, but that's it. Anyway, little trivia for the, or little, let's see. What kind of knowledge is that? Stupid knowledge? McClanahan said, it is difficult to balance the regulation and effect on markets of different sizes with state-level laws. Moscow is such a small community, there's a limited number of properties that require property management services. Some of the more metropolitan markets are very different, she said. It's a tall order. Wilson acknowledged Idaho's tradition of limited government oversight, but said there is a circumstance where people could benefit. Wilson acknowledged Idaho's tradition of limited government oversight, but said this is a circumstance where people could benefit. Someone explain that one to me. There's a place for government to do things for people that they cannot do themselves, and this is one of those cases, he said. Most states have oversight over real estate brokers and property management. Okay, yes. They are done under the same umbrella. To me, it seems like there's a mechanism already there that wouldn't be a far reach to add one more component to. Yeah, okay, I get it. Hold on. Okay, hopefully that's over. I cannot read this, so I'm going to make it bigger here. Oh, great. Now it comes to cop cars. Can I get a break here? We're just going to let this one pass. The timeline of events. June 2009. University City Property Management is registered as a limited liability company with the state of Idaho in 2009 by Michael Osterholz. That's how it goes? Wait. Oh my God. Phew. When it rains, it pours, man. I'm telling you. One of those days. Okay. Let's start this again. June. This is a timeline of events. Sorry, I'm a little aggravated right now. June 2009. University City Property Management is registered as a limited liability company with the state of Idaho in 2009 by Michael Osterholz. January of 2016, University City is sold to Braxton Kerwin, who transferred the existing leases to White Pine Property Management, LLC. Osterholz kept 60% ownership of White Pine. Who? Kerwin, the 40% owner, is listed as the governor and registered agent of White Pine on the LLC filings with the state of Idaho. April 2016. Kerwin received a letter from Osterholz stating he found a bookkeeping error in the University City's accounts and was quitting White Pine. Kirsten said Osterholz handled the bookkeeping. In an email to the Moscow Pullman Daily News, Kerwin said he opened the bank accounts and found the security deposit account empty. University City filed an annual report. Well, how convenient is this? White Pine was evicted from its office due to non-payment of rent, according to the Daily News, in June of 2016. July of 2016, the city of Moscow started receiving calls from tenants and property owners unable to reach White Pine. September 2017. Look at that. That's quite a jump. In fact, that's not quite a jump. That is a huge jump from July of 2016 to September of 2017. University City was dissolved by the state of Idaho. Dissolved by the state of Idaho. January of 2018, another significant jump here. White Pine's annual report was due. What? What? University City was dissolved by the state of Idaho. And White Pine's... What? About the author. After spending 8 months in North Carolina, Tess Fox is back for her senior year as a journalism student and creative director for Blot Magazine. She has a strange affinity for Jackie Kennedy, podcasts of all kinds, and has driven across the country twice. Her career goal is to find a job in brand marketing or creative services. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For bringing this to our attention, Miss Tess Fox. Well, that's a little something, don't you think, you guys? This one's got me reeling like you would not believe. So we're going to do a little looking into things. So we're going to take this right here. I'm going to take this right here. University City Property Management is registered as a limited liability company in the state of Idaho in 2009 by Michael Overholtz. We're going to go there right now. Are you sure that White Pine Property Management was dissolved? Because it doesn't look like it was dissolved to me. Well, at one point maybe, but yeah, right there, but it's open again. Running. Active. Existing. So, way to conquer that problem, Idaho. Sure thing. Take that bull by the horns and show it what you mean. Yeah. You got spiked. Well, it would seem that University City Property Management LLC, that guy's name, the Overholtz, but it still exists. And it still exists mightier than ever. So this one was, let's see, went from 09 to, yep, just to 2016. And it was the person, because I just checked it. Oops. And it is the Overholtz guy. Right here. So, yeah, he's got plenty of stuff going on here. You know, application for reinstatement, another for reinstatement. So he let it slide a couple times. But this company was picked up again, and now it's owned by the Beckers, who own several businesses downtown. Tons and tons and tons of property rentals. I mean, just a crap load of them. And it's a husband and wife team with the church backing them. Sounds like to me. Well, that's where they go to anyway. Apparently they were with another church and then they switched over to that one. That's in one of the Reddits I just... so, I mean, it could be true. People seem like they know what they're talking about. They've got a lot of knowledge in that particular Reddit. And I believe that was on my last video I just posted. Anyway, I think I posted it, didn't I? Did I? I don't remember. Like I said, my head's been hurting all day, so, and it's getting late now. I just want to get this out here, so. Yeah, wow. So, I am going to look up, because the last time I looked this up, a buttload of things came up underneath this. Active, inactive, if I listed that on my video, I'm not sure. Because if I did, I wonder if they can expunge it that quickly to where it doesn't show. Because I could swear I put in, let me see if I do this. Whoops, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go look at that real quick and see what it was. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. They changed part of the name. So it's University City Holdings now. And thank you, Potato Sleuth. You have just the greatest channel and the greatest voice. I swear, it's really nice listening to you. You come up with some great stuff. If you guys don't know about her, she's on TikTok and it's at Potato Sleuth. And really good stuff. Really good. And like I said, she's got a great voice for this. It's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to play this up from my other video to show you what I'm talking about on this university thing. And now I'm just going to cruise a little bit more because that's unbelievable. It's crazy. I think this is great that you have put this out. Hopefully a certain someone will keep her nose out of things, and if not, I'll fight for you. I'll fight for you for sure. So, with that being said, I'm going to look up these places and find out who is behind all this, right? Who's the one that owns this? Who is this person or people? So I'm going to put in University City because that, I would put LLC, but I already tried that because I wanted to make sure this worked. So University City, click there, and you've got right up top, look at all these. Inactive, dissolved, inactive, dissolved. This is moving things back and forth. Look at number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, how far does this go up? They even have their own mortgage management company, City Mortgage, insurance. Okay, so this is interesting with, like, remember how that person, like it was earlier on in this particular video, where they said there was 3 different times this has happened? So I'm wondering who that first company was, because they're showing that the University City property management was one. I wonder if it's the Palouse one, because there's a write-up about Palouse in here too that's just crazy. And that's where Xana worked.
Hi, my name is Xana Kernodle. I'm a marketing major here at the University of Idaho, and I'm involved in a couple things down here, including Vandal Solutions. Last year I did Palouse Properties. I was an associate with them. And
Palouse Properties, I was an associate with them.
I basically just worked with Palouse Properties and did advertising for them, did sales events, etc. And this year I'm doing sales, so I'm a sales associate. So basically I just call people around Moscow, ask them if they're interested in our business, etc. But yeah, I'm a junior here, so it's really exciting. I love it at the University of Idaho, and I'm super excited to be in this marketing class because it's basically my major.
I basically just worked with Palouse Properties and did advertising for them and did sales events, etc. And this year, I'm doing sales. I'm a sales associate. So basically, I just call around Moscow, ask them if they're interested in our business, etc. But hey, I'm a junior. It's my junior year, so it's really exciting, and I love it at University of Idaho. And I'm super excited to be in this marketing class because it's basically my major. Man. So I know this hasn't happened yet, and I'm just sad about the whole thing. But anyway, I wanted to let you guys know that these tire marks that are right behind me, they have nothing to do with that morning, that awful morning. So the investigators are going to say it is, but it's not. I want you guys to know I'm okay. I'm okay. Really, I am. Love you all.
This is actually King Street, where I've lived the past 2 years, and I really like just hanging out with my friends all the time and being super involved in school events and everything else. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me, and I'm really excited to take on this course.
She did calls for them. She was, that she says it right in that one video she made. Not only that, but so did Maddie. She worked there too. So, what's that all about, I wonder? Your guess is as good as mine with this, man, I'm telling you. Just get deeper and deeper every day, doesn't it? So, anywho, I'm going to cut this one off right here and go to bed. Okay. Love you guys. Take care. Have a great sleep and a beautiful morning. Getting up on the right side of the bed, or the left, depending on which side you get up on. Just make sure it's a good one. All right, you take care.